Let's move on now. Agricultural unions in France are preparing to mount a siege on the French capital to pressure the government into meeting their demands on pay, tax and regulations. France is now stepping up police reinforcements to prepare for the protests. Farmers' unions have called for protesters to set up transport roadblocks around the capital and to target the Rungis food market near Paris. The Paris police body said that in response to this, it is increasing security around Rungis and the Paris Roissy airport. It also published videos on its social media account of armored police vehicles taking up positions by Rungis. Speaking after an emergency meeting, Interior Minister said 15,000 police officers are being deployed to watch over the protests. Last week, the government had dropped plans to gradually reduce state subsidies on agricultural diesel. They also announced other steps to reduce the financial and administrative pressures farmers are facing. However, farmers are demanding better pay and living conditions. French farmers are furious at what they say is a squeeze of purchase prices for produce by supermarket and industrial buyers, as well as complex environmental regulations. Earlier, French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal visited a cattle farm. Attal has promised to put an end to the rising cost of diesel fuel used for farming machinery. There would also be an emergency fund to help cattle farmers battle illnesses among their livestock. The government has been trying to keep discontent among farmers from spreading just months ahead of European Parliament elections, which are seen as a key test for President Emmanuel Macron's government. Ross Cullen is our correspondent. He's now joining us live from Paris. Good to see you, Ross. How is the new French Prime Minister able to handle this pressure? He is seen as a man who is really under pressure. And what are the farmers saying about him?
Well, Gabriel Attal has not yet been in the job for 1 month. This certainly is his major crisis. He and the Minister of Agriculture, Marc Fesneau, say that they will be announcing further measures either today or tomorrow, Tuesday, to try to assuage some of the demands by farmers. The agriculture sector not yet satisfied, even though there had been some policy announcements made by the government on Friday, and they have widened their protests now to take in some of the major trunk roads in and out of the French capital. They're trying to blockade some of the motorways to continue to show their protests against what they say are the pressures on their sector, price pressures from retailers, low salaries, high production costs, cheap imports, red tape, and the effects of climate change policies, the effects of the environmental transition on their sector. The government says there are 15,000 police officers on duty, saying that it is a red line. They will not be able to, the farmers will not be able to reach the wholesale market of Rungis, just outside the French capital. That is where some of the farmers say they were aiming to get to, and the French government saying they won't be able to reach there. They are expected to be on the major roads around the capital, but not driving through the centre of Paris, and they will be eager to hear these new measures from the government, which certainly is feeling the pressure not yet been imposed for a month. Gabriel Attal reacting to this demonstration, which has now been nationwide and going on for a week.
Ross Cullen, live from Paris. Thank you. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.